Is there a particular reason why you're doing this now and say before the deadline to get a candidate on the ballot?
Deadline for getting a candidate on the ballot's already passed.
That's what I mean. It's like, why now? Why not have done this, say, before June 9th or whatever it was?
This has been a work in progress, and it has taken quite some time to do the research and get the people together and get the ideas consolidated and get it drafted in a way that I can actually get a vote and get it published. I mean, this is not just my document. This is done by the entire committee, and I'm here speaking on behalf of that committee. This just taking time.
Do you plan on endorsing any of the candidates in the
Well, no, yeah, it depends whether they'll endorse our platform.
Do you think this is necessary before possibly having a nominee in the next round of elections in the city?
I'm sorry, say again?
Before having another election in the city, do you think this is a necessary document?
This is a necessary document just to get political debate started. You know, I would hope that there would be candidates that would come out of the woodwork and look at this and say, these are good ideas, we'd like to hear more about them, maybe we'd like to run on them. So, I mean, that's not going to happen this election. We don't have any candidate in this year's election, but you know, we certainly hope to in the future, and we hope that what will happen is that people will read this and will debate it, get it out there where people can talk about it, and if enough people like it, we'll get candidates that will step forward and be willing to run.
You talked about trying to reach out to Republicans in Charlottesville, get them to stand up and get involved with the party. What about undecided voters or independents? Are any plans to go door to door, get out in the neighborhoods?
We have some plans. I don't know that we'll necessarily go door to door at this point, but we have some plans to reach out by mail and reach out by phone, and reaching out to various people. But I think the necessary prerequisite was to be able to say this is what we stand for in Charlottesville. This is not just what we stand for. When we're electing the president. This is peculiar right here to Charlottesville, particularly right here. So we need to be able to say that, and we've done it.
Is the goal to see the numbers of Charlottesville registered Republicans rise, or to get someone on city council in 2 years, or get Bob McDonnell in the governor's mansion? What's the goal?
The goal here is to get these things implemented in Charlottesville. And I think that benefits the people of Charlottesville. I mean, I don't know that Bob McDonnell had anything to do with these, other than that he would probably endorse whatever legislative changes we sought to propose, or constitutional measures that we sought to propose. But with regard to whether he's going to come in here and get a Republican elected in city council, that's not our goal. Our goal is to improve Charlottesville.
The things that you left off of that you all left off of the platform, such as like national security, some of the social issues. Can you explain again why you left those things off?
Well, it was a combination of reasons. Things like the social issues and national security. We wanted to keep this platform directed at city council and local policies that we can do here to affect the lives of the people. But those things are best addressed at the state level. Most of them are beyond the scope of the city charter anyway. With regard to things like infrastructure issues, like the Medic Creek Parkway or the water supply plan, those things just don't lend themselves to a neat ideological divide where you can truly show a separation between Democrats and Republicans. Reasonable people disagree about whether we need those things or not. Reasonable people can look at the cost-benefit analyses and come to completely different conclusions for completely non-ideological reasons. We just felt like rather than get mired into details of cost-benefit analyses and things like that, we wanted to put something in here that really focused on the core functions and duties of government, and because that's where the real separation between Democrats and Republicans are. We have some very distinct ideas here that are different.
There are some people who are on city council right now that say that politics doesn't matter when it comes down to solving local issues. Would you disagree when it comes to some of the things that are mentioned in this platform?
I think all politics is local. So, the things that are in this platform represent some things that represent the philosophical divide between Democrats and Republicans. And to that extent, politics is appropriate here. Like I said, with regard to some things like Medic Creek Parkway and the water plan, perhaps not so much. There's not a Democrat or Republican way to pave a street or to fix a sewer, but there certainly is a Democrat way and a Republican way to really look at the entire school system and see whether or not we need to make some structural changes there.
How closely will you be involved? I see on the public housing, the city is currently in the planning stages for the revamping of the 368 units in public housing. How closely will you yourself be involved in that process?
It's hard to say. You know, I mean, it depends whether or not the ideas that are here actually take root, because this is not just a matter of redeveloping public housing, but it's really a change of ownership. You know, a fundamental shift in who holds the power over the future of that housing. So that's a distinct difference. I've talked to several people that have been involved in that process. I'm not sure we'll necessarily get involved unless this idea begins to take root.
And you're referring specifically to the Homestead program?
Yes.
What's the relationship between the city Republican Party, potentially the UVA Republicans, voter registration, that kind of stuff, ahead of this November and the city council election?
It's all informal. You know, obviously, as a party, I think there's really two functions to the local party. One is to put out candidates. Okay, and in that sense, we'll be working in coordination with the Albemarle County Republican Party, the college Republicans, all Republicans, any other group that would like to volunteer to help promote the candidate for the statewide basis, and that would be but the second thing is to provide a party that can coalesce around certain ideas and certain principles. Okay, and I think the Republicans have sort of agreed on their principles, but we've never really done it in a way that has applied them directly to our local issues. And that's where this is the first step in that. With regard to just getting the candidates elected, it's an informal coordination. We'll take whatever help we can get. Call it out. Republicans, sure, we'll get it out there.
Knowing the demographics of the city of Charlottesville, especially politically, is this an uphill battle?
Well, it's always an uphill battle. Anytime you try to make some changes, it's an uphill battle. You know, I mentioned, you know, Ken Cuccinelli running for Attorney General. He's reviewed this and he endorses it. And he is a state senator from Northern Virginia. The electoral map in Northern Virginia is not unlike Charlottesville. I mean, it is very heavily Democratic, but he continues to get electoral success up there, promoting his conservative principles. And that's why he endorsed this so much, because he saw those principles at play on a local level. So it's always an uphill battle. I'm not going to diminish any of that. We got to fight, but you got to get out there and be willing to stand up for what you believe in and what you're promoting for, not just against.
Speaking of that for a second, I know in the county one of the issues for the Republicans running is revisiting the revenue sharing agreement. Does the city Republican Party have a position on the revenue sharing agreement?
Our position is stated in here that the revenue sharing agreement is right now it is a conventional contract between the city and the county. It does call for good faith negotiations between the city and the county to seek efficiencies and consolidation of services over time. That got abandoned in about, I want to say, the 1986 time frame, and has never really been restored or renewed. And we would certainly entertain good faith negotiations in order to reduce the cost of government for all the citizens here. I'm not sure we're prepared to go forth and say that we're going to renegotiate the whole thing. I mean, this is not just a gift from the county to the city. Okay, they give us money, but when we gave up something, we gave up the right to annex, because that had been the public policy in the Commonwealth for about 200 years. Urban areas were put under the auspices of the city government. Rural areas were put under the auspices of the county government. When it came time for need to grow, there was a lawsuit and an annexation, and that's how it worked. You know, we could have done what Virginia Beach did and annexed the entire county and made all this Charlottesville. You know, we didn't do that. We're here at 10 square miles. We've got an agreement. That agreement's in place. And right now, we're going to stand by it until we see a better way to go.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.